Hello students, in this video I am going to discuss about impure methods. So, impure methods is just the opposite of pure methods and it follows two rules. The first one is it changes the state of an object and every time it is called it does not return the same value for the same arguments. Okay. So, let us implement both the points in Java code and try to understand it in a better way. So, as you can see in this program I have created a class called Impure Methods. Inside this class I have two functions, display and main. So, let's execute the main function line by line and see what happens. So, in line number 14, that is the first line in the main function, is creating an object of impure methods type. Okay. So, when the object is created in the memory, all the instance variables will be initialized. In this case I just have one instance variable num. Okay. So, this num gets initialized here, okay, and the reference of this object is passed to obj1. So, we can say that this is our obj1 object. Okay. So, I am sure that most of you know that every object has its own copy of the instance variables. So, this num equals 0, this num belongs to obj1. Okay. Okay. So, let's see the next line. What happens here? We are calling the display function with the help of obj1 object. Okay. So, the control will immediately transfer here to this function display. Num2 will receive the value 5. Okay. Control comes inside the display function. The value of num2 is 5 and the value of num is 0. Okay. So, 5 plus 0, that is 5, is stored in the variable num. So, when we use an instance variable inside a function, okay, that instance variable must belong to some object. Be clear with this point. When we use an instance variable inside a function, that instance variable must belong to some object. Now, when I am referring to num here inside this display function, okay, num is here and here also there is num and here also we have a num. So, this num is an instance variable. Okay. So, this must belong to some object. So, how will we know which object it belongs to, whether it belongs to obj1 or it belongs to obj2 or some other object? Okay. This can be found out by looking at the function call statement. So, if you look at the function call statement here, you can see that obj1 object is responsible for calling the display function. Okay. Hence, when we refer to the instance variable num here, that num belongs to obj1. So, this point must be absolutely clear. Okay. So, let's come back. The present value of num is 0. Okay. obj1's num is 0, then num2 is 5. Okay. 5 plus 0 is 5 and that 5 is stored in the same instance variable num. So, this 0 here gets replaced by 5. okay, and then we return the value num, the value of num. So, the value of num is 5. Okay. So, 5 is returned here. Okay. So, the result of this function call statement is 5. So, the output of this line will be call 1 5. Okay. So, when this line is done, the control comes to the next line. Next line again we are calling the display function and we are passing the same value again. Okay. We are passing the same value 5 to num2 and we are using the same object obj1 to call the function. Okay. So, again the transfer will be the control will be transferred to the display function. Num2 will receive the value 5, num2 will receive the value 5, control will come inside. Okay. So, let us execute this first statement in the display function. Present value of num2 is 5 and the present value of num is also 5. Okay. As you can see here, the value of num is 5. Okay. So, 5 plus 5 is 10, 10 is stored in the same instance variable num. So, this 5 will be updated and replaced by 10. Okay. So, obj1's num is storing the value 10. So, when we return obj1's num here, that will be 10. So, 10 is returned to this function call statement. So, the output in this line will be call to 10. Similarly, when we call display again in the fourth line of the main function, that is line number 18, this time we will be returned with the value 15 and in the last line of the main function, when we call the display function, the value that will come back from the display function will be 20. Okay. So, first time we received 10, second time we received first time we received 5 from the display function, second time we received 10, third time we received 15 and fourth time we received 20. So, you can see that our second point from the impure methods is it does not return the same value when the same arguments are given. Okay. So, that is what just happened. We were passing the same argument, isn't it? We were passing 5 to all the cases, okay, but each time we were receiving a different value like 5, 10, 15 and 20. So, we can say that this second condition is fulfilled. Okay. Let us come to this first condition. It does change the original state of an object. So, original state of an object. Okay. So, the state of an object is represented by the instance variables, right. So, if we make any change to the instance variables, that means we are changing the state of the object. So, in our display function, we are definitely changing the changing an instance variable, isn't it? This num here is an instance variable and we are applying the assignment operator to it. That means, the value of num will be changed whenever line number 8 is executed. Okay. So, since the instance variable is being updated in line number 8, we are actually in fact changing the state of the object. And in our case, in this example, obj1's state is being changed by the display function. So, the first case, the first condition is also fulfilled. Okay. So, now we can call the display function as impure. Okay. In this case, the display function is an impure method, because it is following the two rules that we just saw. So, that is it about impure methods. Thank you.